Bill Barr calls out Jasmine Crockett for lying, but she exposes him with proof. What secrets lurk in the shadowy corridors of Washington, where one whispered decision can shield the powerful or expose their deepest deceptions? Picture this: a man at the heart of justice, sworn to uphold the law, yet accused of twisting it to protect a president. That's the enigmatic tale of Bill Barr, the former attorney general whose Trump-era moves have sparked endless debate and suspicion. If you've ever wondered how far loyalty can stretch before it snaps, you're in the right place, because what we're about to uncover might just redefine your view of power in America. Bill Barr's story isn't your typical rise to fame. Born in New York in 1950, he grew up in a world of intellect and influence with a father who headed a prestigious school and wrote science fiction on the side. Barr himself dove into law, earning degrees from Columbia and George Washington University, then cutting his teeth at the CIA during the late 70s. It was there he honed skills in intelligence and policy, setting the stage for a career that would see him navigate the trickiest waters of government. By the time he became Attorney General under George H.W. Bush in 1991, Barr was already known as a no-nonsense conservative, handling everything from the Gulf War legalities to domestic unrest with a steady hand. But it was his return in 2019 under Donald Trump that turned him into a lightning rod for controversy. Fast forward to that pivotal moment when Trump tapped him for the role. At 68, Barr stepped back into the spotlight, promising to restore order to a Justice Department battered by scandals. Yet from day one, eyebrows raised. Critics saw him as Trump's personal defender, especially after he cleared the president of obstruction in the Mueller probe without batting an eye. Remember that 4-page summary he released? It downplayed key findings on Russian interference, leading many to cry foul. And then there was Mueller's own letter, penned in frustration, pointing out how Barr's spin had muddled the public's understanding. It's moments like these that make you question, was Barr safeguarding the nation or just the man in the Oval Office? But let's peel back another layer. As 2020 unfolded, with elections heating up, Barr's public stance on voter fraud, or the lack thereof, clashed dramatically with Trump's narrative. He went on record saying there was no evidence of widespread cheating, even as the president pushed wild theories. This led to explosive Oval Office showdowns, where Barr reportedly called fraud claims bullshit straight to Trump's face. His resignation just weeks after the election, officially for family time, but insiders whisper it was the breaking point of unbearable pressure. Rumors suggest Trump demanded actions like seizing voting machines, which Barr resisted, but at what cost to his own principles? These aren't just old headlines. They're the building blocks of a legacy still under fire. In recent years, as of 2025, speculations have swirled about Barr's behind-the-scenes role in Trump's legal woes, with some claiming he's quietly advising on defenses despite public criticisms. Online forums buzz with unverified reports of ethics probes into his conduct, hinting at possible disbarment risks. It's been said that his 2022 book, packed with insider revelations, only fueled the fire, exposing tensions that could rewrite history books. Yet Barr maintains he always played by the rules, dismissing detractors as partisan hacks. As we dive deeper, prepare for the shocks, whistleblower accounts, hidden recordings, and confrontations that left Washington reeling. From January 6 testimonies to clashes with figures like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, each twist adds to the mystery. But hold on, because what follows might reveal if Barr's shield was ever truly for justice or something far more personal. Stick with us. The real revelations are just beginning. Ever wonder how someone climbs from the shadows of intelligence work to become one of Washington's most formidable insiders? That's the path Bill Barr took, building a reputation as a master navigator of power's tricky waters. Born in 1950 in New York City, Barr grew up in a family where intellect ruled. His father was a strict educator and even dabbled in writing tales of distant worlds. Young Barr soaked it up, heading to Columbia University for his undergrad and later George Washington for law school. But it wasn't classrooms that shaped him most. It was his early stint at the CIA in the late 1970s, where he learned the art of handling sensitive info and crafting policies that could make or break administrations. Those years planted the seeds for a career defined by quiet influence and bold moves. By the 1980s, Barr was rising fast in Republican circles, serving in key roles under Reagan that honed his conservative edge. He became known for his sharp legal mind, advocating for strong executive powers and a no-compromise stance on law and order. Then came his first big spotlight, Attorney General under George H.W. Bush from 1991 to 1993. During that time, he oversaw major operations like the legal backing for the Panama invasion and responses to urban unrest after high-profile trials. Insiders praised his steady hand, but critics whispered he favored the powerful, bending interpretations to shield those in charge. It earned him a nickname among some as the ultimate fixer, a guy who could make problems vanish with a well-timed memo or decision. Yet even then there were hints of controversy, like his role in pardons that let key figures walk free from scandals, leaving many to speculate if J. Eustace was truly blind or just selectively sighted. After leaving office, Barr didn't fade away. He jumped into the private sector, advising massive corporations on navigating government regulations, all while keeping ties to GOP heavyweights. His reputation grew as the go-to expert for conservative causes, writing pieces that championed presidential authority and critiqued what he saw as overreach by investigators. Rumors suggest he quietly influenced policy debates from the sidelines, with some claiming he advised on strategies to counter probes into political figures. It's been said that his network ran deep, connecting him to influential think tanks and legal circles that amplified his views. By the time the 2010s rolled around, Barr was seen as an elder statesman of the right, someone whose word carried weight in rooms where decisions really mattered. But beneath that polished image, speculations bubbled about his willingness to push boundaries. Reports claim he once argued for extreme measures in national security, though nothing ever stuck as more than talk. All this set the perfect stage for his dramatic return in 2019 when Donald Trump called him back to lead the Justice Department. At 68, Barr stepped in amid chaos, with the Mueller investigation hanging like a storm cloud over the White House. Trump needed a loyal hand, and Barr fit the bill. His past showed he could defend executive turf fiercely. From the start, he dove into controversies, issuing opinions that expanded presidential protections and cracking down on perceived leaks. But whispers grew louder. Was he there to enforce the law impartially, or to act as the president's personal guardian? Sources suggest early meetings with Trump involved tense discussions on handling ongoing probes, with Barr reportedly assuring that he'd manage the fallout. His actions quickly drew fire, like when he intervened in cases tied to Trump allies, leading many to question if old habits of favoritism were resurfacing. As Barr settled into the role, his reputation as a power player solidified. He became known for bold public statements, dismissing critics as partisan while steering the department through turbulent times. Yet, behind the scenes, tensions simmered. Rumors point to clashes with career officials who felt he prioritized politics over procedure. It's been speculated that his decisions, like downplaying certain investigations, were calculated to maintain alliances, though Barr has always pushed back, calling such claims baseless attacks. This mix of admiration and suspicion made him a polarizing figure, the kind who could command respect in boardrooms but spark outrage in headlines. And as the Trump years intensified, these elements would collide in ways that tested everything he'd built. But hold on, because what unfolded next in the Mueller saga would expose fractures that no one saw coming, turning Barr's shield into a target. Picture this. A massive report lands on your desk, packed with details that could shake the foundations of a presidency. For Bill Barr, that moment came in March 2019 when special counsel Robert Mueller wrapped up his 2-year dive into Russian interference in the 2016 election. As the newly minted Attorney General, Barr was the first to see the full 448-page beast, and what he did next would ignite a firestorm of accusations and doubts. Was he summarizing facts or crafting a narrative to shield his boss? The twists in this chapter reveal a web of decisions that left many wondering if justice was getting a selective edit. Barr didn't waste time. Just days after receiving the report, he fired off a 4-page letter to Congress, boiling down Mueller's findings to what he called the essentials. No collusion with Russia by the Trump campaign, he declared, and on obstruction of justice, Mueller hadn't reached a conclusion, so Barr stepped in, deciding there wasn't enough to charge the president. It seemed straightforward, a quick resolution to a saga that had gripped the nation. But beneath that calm surface, tensions were brewing. Insiders at the Justice Department whispered that Barr's summary glossed over nuances, like the 10 instances Mueller detailed where obstruction might have occurred. Critics argued it was a masterclass in spin, designed to defuse the bomb before the public could fully grasp its impact. Barr defended it fiercely, saying he was just providing clarity in a chaotic media storm. Yet, the move set off alarm bells, with Democrats in Congress demanding the full report, sensing something was being held back. Then came the bombshell that cracked everything wide open, a private letter from Mueller himself, sent to Barr on March 27, 2019, just after the summary dropped. In it, Mueller didn't mince words. He expressed deep concern that Barr's letter had muddled the public's understanding of the investigation's core elements. The summary, Mueller wrote, failed to capture the context, nature, and substance of his team's work, leading to confusion about critical aspects like potential obstruction. It was a rare peek behind the curtain, showing friction between two legal titans. Barr later downplayed it, claiming it was about media misinterpretations, not the summary itself. But when the letter leaked weeks later, outrage exploded. Headlines screamed of a cover-up, with pundits questioning if Barr had deliberately softened the blow to protect Trump. Mueller's team reportedly felt betrayed, with some anonymous sources saying they expected a more faithful representation. This wasn't just bureaucratic nitpicking, it fueled speculations that Barr was acting as the president's personal attorney, rather than the nation's top law enforcer. The fallout was swift and brutal. When Barr testified before Congress in May 2019, he faced grilling questions about that very letter. Under oath, he admitted receiving it but insisted his summary was accurate. Yet, pressed on whether Mueller supported his conclusions, Barr's response was cagey. He claimed uncertainty, even though the letter clearly highlighted discrepancies. This exchange amplified the drama, with opponents accusing him of misleading lawmakers. Reports emerged of internal DOJ unrest, where career officials felt sidelined as Barr centralized control over the report's release. Some speculated this was part of a broader pattern, where Barr intervened in politically sensitive cases to align with White House interests, though he always pushed back, calling such claims partisan smears. The full Mueller report, released in redacted form soon after, only added fuel, revealing details that seemed at odds with Barr's initial take. As the dust settled, the episode cemented Barr's image as a polarizing force. Supporters saw him as a steady hand cutting through hysteria, while detractors viewed it as evidence of eroded independence at the Justice Department. Rumors swirled in political circles about behind-the-scenes pressures, with unverified accounts suggesting Trump had urged a favorable spin. It's been said that this handling eroded trust in institutions, sparking debates that linger to this day. But if you think the Mueller mess was the peak of the storm, wait until we unpack what happened as the 2020 election approached, where Barr's words on fraud would test loyalties like never before. As the 2020 election barrel rolled closer, the air in Washington thickened with tension, and Bill Barr found himself smack in the middle of a storm that would test every ounce of his resolve. With claims of voter fraud flying from the White House like confetti, Barr's role as Attorney General put him on the front lines, deciding what to investigate and what to shut down. Publicly, he came out swinging against the wild theories, telling major networks there was no evidence of widespread cheating that could sway the results. It was a rare moment of pushback against Trump, who was ramping up rhetoric about stolen votes. But dig a little deeper, and you start seeing the pressures bubbling underneath, the kind that make you wonder just how much was said behind closed doors. Barr's dismissals weren't casual asides. They came after the Justice Department launched probes into specific allegations, like issues in swing states. He announced that after thorough checks, nothing substantial turned up. No massive ballot dumps or rigged machines that could flip the outcome. This stance earned him praise from some quarters for upholding integrity, but it also painted a target on his back from Trump loyalists who saw it as betrayal. Reports suggest internal memos circulated, urging staff to chase down tips, yet Barr drew a line, reportedly telling aides not to waste resources on baseless hunts. It's been whispered that this caution stemmed from career officials pushing back, warning that chasing ghosts could tarnish the department's reputation. Still, the dismissals didn't sit well everywhere. Speculation arose that Barr was selectively ignoring certain leads to avoid deeper entanglements, though he's always maintained it was about facts, not favoritism. Then came those explosive Oval Office meetings where the real heat turned up. Sources close to the administration claim Trump pressed Barr hard, demanding action on fraud claims and even floating ideas like appointing special counsels or seizing equipment. Barr reportedly pushed back, labeling some theories as outlandish in no uncertain terms. One account describes a heated exchange where Barr bluntly told the president the claims were nonsense, leading to a rift that grew wider by the day. Rumors suggest Trump grew frustrated, accusing Barr of not being tough enough, while Barr worried about the legal risks of overstepping. It's been said that these internal pressures mounted, with White House aides allegedly bypassing Barr to contact state officials directly, hinting at a chaotic scramble that left the Attorney General sidelined. Unverified reports even point to Barr facing ultimatums, get on board or get out, though nothing's been proven beyond the tense atmosphere described in later testimonies. All this culminated in Barr's sudden resignation on December 23, 2020, just weeks after the election. Officially, he cited a desire to spend the holidays with family and pride in his accomplishments, like criminal justice reforms and cracking down on certain threats. But the timing raised eyebrows, coming right as Trump's challenges intensified and just before the January 6 certification. Insiders speculate it was the boiling point of those internal clashes, with Barr unwilling to cross ethical lines that could lead to bigger troubles. Reports claim he confided to associates that the fraud obsession was draining and unfounded, pushing him to exit before things escalated further. Some online buzz suggests hidden motives, like avoiding implication in post-election schemes, but Barr has dismissed such talk as fiction, insisting his departure was amicable. Yet his post-resignation comments praising the election's integrity only fueled theories of a deeper fallout. The resignation didn't end the scrutiny, it amplified it. Legal experts noted how Barr's exit letter to Trump was unusually glowing, perhaps a calculated move to avoid burning bridges. Meanwhile, whistleblowers later emerged, claiming the department under Barr had downplayed early warnings about potential unrest tied to fraud narratives. These accounts hint at a pressure cooker environment where loyalty clashed with law, leaving scars on Barr's legacy. It's a chapter that shows how even the steadiest hands can waver under relentless strain, raising questions about what else might have been swept under the rug. But if you think the pressures eased after his departure, think again. The January 6 fallout would drag Barr back into the spotlight, with testimonies that peeled back even more layers of this intricate puzzle. Fasten your seatbelts, because as the dust from the 2020 election settled, Bill Barr's story took a turn into one of the most chaotic chapters in recent history, the January 6th Capitol events. Even after stepping down, Barr couldn't escape the spotlight. In June 2022, he sat for a closed-door session with the House Select Committee investigating the riot, and what he revealed painted a vivid picture of internal chaos. Barr described multiple meetings where he bluntly told Trump the fraud claims were groundless, even using colorful language to dismiss them as absurd. He recounted warning the president that pursuing baseless challenges could backfire massively, yet Trump pushed on, surrounded by advisors feeding the frenzy. This testimony wasn't just a recap, it highlighted Barr's breaking point, where he chose to walk away rather than enable what he saw as a dangerous delusion. But questions lingered. Did he do enough to stop the momentum building toward that fateful day? Barr's account added fuel to the narrative of a White House in disarray. He detailed how Trump's team floated wild ideas like invoking martial law or seizing voting equipment, which Barr shot down as unlawful. In his words, these schemes were so outlandish they bordered on the ridiculous, and he made it clear he wouldn't be part of them. The committee's final report leaned on his insights to show a pattern of ignored warnings, positioning Barr as a voice of reason who ultimately bailed when the pressure mounted. Yet, critics argue his earlier dismissals of fraud probes might have emboldened the rhetoric that led to the unrest. It's a murky line, with some speculating Barr's public stance was a calculated move to distance himself just in time, though he's always framed it as principled resistance. Reports suggest his testimony helped shape the committee's findings, emphasizing how top officials knew the election was secure, but failed to curb the escalating tensions. Then came the whistleblowers, emerging like shadows from the Justice Department's halls, adding layers of intrigue to Barr's legacy. In the years following, several former officials stepped forward with claims that painted a troubling picture. One key account came from career prosecutors who alleged Barr intervened in high-profile cases to align with White House interests, like pushing for lighter sentences in matters tied to Trump allies. Think of the Roger Stone situation, where whistleblowers testified that Barr overrode recommendations, leading to accusations of political favoritism. Another bombshell involved the handling of election-related tips. Sources claimed Barr directed resources away from certain investigations, potentially downplaying threats that culminated in January 6th. It's been whispered that internal memos warned of rising extremism, but under Barr's watch, they were sidelined. Unverified reports suggest this was to avoid clashing with Trump's narrative, though nothing's been proven definitively. These accounts didn't stop there. In 2023 and into 2025, more voices surfaced, including from ex-DOJ staff who spoke to media outlets about a culture of fear during Barr's tenure. One whistleblower detailed how Barr allegedly quashed probes into foreign election interference, framing it as overreach that could embarrass the administration. Online forums buzz with speculations that these revelations point to a broader pattern of obstruction, with some claiming hidden recordings exist of tense meetings, though experts caught. These are just rumors without solid backing. Reports from 2025 even hint at ongoing ethics reviews by bar associations, sparked by these accounts, potentially threatening Barr's legal standing. Barr has countered fiercely, calling the whistleblowers disgruntled and their stories twisted for political gain. Still, the drip of disclosures keeps the controversy alive, raising eyebrows about what else might be buried in those department files. The impact? These testimonies and accounts have reshaped views on January 6th, showing it wasn't just a spontaneous eruption, but the result of ignored red flags at the highest levels. Barr's role, once seen as stabilizing, now appears more complex, a mix of defiance and possible complicity. It's the kind of drama that makes you question institutional trust, with each new whisper adding to the mystery. But the story doesn't end in the past. Recent years have brought fresh speculations, especially around figures like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, whose pointed questions echo these very issues, leading us right into the next wave of confrontations. As Bill Barr's post-AG life unfolded, the spotlight didn't dim. It shifted to fresh confrontations and brewing speculations that keep his name buzzing in political circles. Enter rising Democratic firebrand Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas, a former civil rights attorney who's made waves with her sharp interrogations and no-holds-barred style. While Barr and Crockett haven't squared off in a direct, headline-grabbing showdown as of mid-2025, their paths have crossed indirectly through heated oversight hearings and public barbs that echo broader clashes over Trump-era accountability. Crockett, known for her viral takedowns, like her alliterative roast of Trump as a vindictive, vile villain at the 2024 Democratic National Convention, has positioned herself as a fierce critic of figure, as like Barr, pushing for probes into alleged abuses of power. It's the kind of tension that fuels online firestorms, with videos speculating on dramatic dismantlings racking up views, even if some lean into fiction for clicks. Crockett's rise has amplified scrutiny on Barr's legacy, especially in committee rooms where she grilled Trump allies on everything from election interference to civil rights lapses. In early 2025, as Democrats regrouped after electoral setbacks, Crockett emerged as a key voice, calling out what she sees as white supremacist influences in the administration and championing voting rights reforms. Rumors suggest she's eyed Barr's past actions, like his handling of the Mueller report and election fraud dismissals, as prime targets for renewed investigations, with unverified buzz online claiming whistleblowers might resurface to expose more 15. Reports claim Crockett's legal background makes her a natural foe, potentially leading oversight efforts that could drag Barr back into the fray, though nothing's materialized yet. It's been said that her straightforward rebuttals to MAGA rhetoric, including clashes with Republicans like Nancy Mace, mirror the accountability Barr once dodged, keeping his decisions under a microscope. Speculation swirls that if Crockett ascends to roles like ranking member on the House Oversight Committee, a bid she dropped in June 2025, she could spearhead probes directly challenging Barr's narrative of impartiality. But the real intrigue ramps up with 2025's fresh whispers about Barr's enduring legacy. As Trump returned to power, unverified reports hint at Barr quietly advising on legal strategies behind the scenes, despite his public criticisms of the former president's 2024 campaign. It's been speculated that his 2022 memoir, which detailed off-the-rails moments with Trump, might get a sequel or expansion, with fans buzzing about revelations that could either rehabilitate or further tarnish his image. Online forums are abuzz with claims of ethics probes by state bar associations in New York and Virginia, potentially leading to disbarment over alleged lies to Congress, though experts note these are just rumors without confirmed action as of July 2025. Sources suggest Barr's interventions in cases like Michael Flynn's or Roger Stone's continue to haunt him, with whistleblower accounts from ex-DOJ officials painting a pattern of favoritism that erodes public trust. Critics, including former colleagues, argue his tenure as Trump's personal henchman set a dangerous precedent, prioritizing loyalty over law. Even conservative commentators have distanced themselves, calling for transparency amid fears his actions weakened institutions. These speculations aren't isolated. They've sparked media frenzy, from podcasts dissecting his culture warrior mindset to articles questioning if he'll face criminal referrals. 17. Rumors claim Barr's wrapping up loose ends in late 2020, echoed in his resignation letter, left unresolved threads that 2025 probes might unravel, like hidden pressures on state officials. It's the stuff of political thrillers, with each whisper building curiosity about whether Barr's shield will crack under sustained fire. Yet, as these shadows lengthen, the true shock comes in the aftermath. Media explosions and legal ripples that redefined Washington's power games, setting up our final dive into the lasting fallout. With the echoes of controversy still ringing, Bill Barr's exit from the spotlight didn't mean the end. It sparked an aftermath that's kept Washington buzzing, from viral media storms to looming legal shadows. Picture the ripple effects: a former top lawman whose decisions unleashed a torrent of scrutiny, reshaping debates on power and accountability. As 2021 dawned, Barr slipped into private life, but the waves from his tenure re-crashed on, drawing reactions that ranged from outrage to reluctant nods. Media outlets pounced, dissecting every move, while legal experts pondered if consequences would finally catch up. It's a tale of fallout that shows how one person's choices can haunt the halls of justice long after they've left. The media frenzy hit like a hurricane right after Barr's resignation. Outlets like CNN and MSNBC ran nonstop segments, branding him as Trump's enabler, with pundits replaying his Mueller summary as Exhibit A in a case of institutional erosion. Conservative voices, including Fox News, initially defended him as a steady hand, but even they couldn't ignore the growing chorus of criticism. By 2022, as January 6 hearings unfolded, Barr's testimony became primetime fodder. Clips of his blunt dismissals of fraud claims went viral, amassing millions of views on YouTube and TikTok. Social media exploded with memes and threads, some hailing him as a late-blooming hero for pushing back against Trump, others slamming him for not acting sooner. Reports from that year show Twitter trends like #BarTestimony spiking, with influencers breaking down his bullshit quip as a mic drop moment. Yet, speculation swirled online about edited narratives, with unverified claims suggesting Barr downplayed his own role in earlier interventions to salvage his image. As 2023 rolled in, the reactions evolved into deeper analyses. Major publications like the New York Times published exposés on whistleblower accounts, highlighting alleged obstructions in cases tied to Trump allies, which fueled podcasts and op-eds questioning Barr's ethics. International media, from the BBC to Al Jazeera, framed it as a symptom of American democratic fragility, with viewership surging for documentaries on the era. By 2024, amid Trump's campaign revival, Barr's public criticisms of the bid drew mixed responses. Some praised his candor in interviews, while MAGA circles labeled him a traitor, sparking boycott calls against his appearances. It's been whispered that this fallout fractured old alliances, with reports claiming Barr lost speaking gigs and faced social media backlash. Fast forward to 2025, and the buzz hasn't faded. Fresh rumors about his advisory role in Trump's legal battles have ignited Reddit megathreads and TikTok reactions, with creators speculating on hidden motives behind his measured silence. But the real edge-of-your-seat drama lies in the potential legal fallout, a sword hanging over Barr's legacy. Experts note that while statutes of limitations shield some actions, ongoing probes into election interference could still bite. Whistleblowers' claims of manipulated investigations, like in the Flynn or Stone cases, have prompted calls for ethics reviews by bar associations in states where he's licensed. Unverified reports from 2025 suggest investigations might expand, with sources hinting at subpoenas for records that could expose more. Legal analysts on networks like MSNBC have debated disbarment risks, pointing to alleged misrepresentations to Congress as grounds for action. Barr's team has pushed back, dismissing it as partisan witch hunts, but the speculation builds curiosity. Could new evidence from January 6th files trigger charges? It's been said that if fresh whistleblowers emerge, the fallout could rival historic scandals, though nothing's confirmed yet. This aftermath isn't just noise, it's reshaped how we view oversight, with Barr's story serving as a cautionary tale. The media has amplified every twist, turning personal decisions into national debates, while legal threats loom like storm clouds. As reactions continue to pour in, one thing's clear: the ripples from his era might just redefine accountability for years to come. But if you think that's the final word, hold tight. The conclusion ties it all together with the provocative takedowns. That leaves you questioning everything. We've journeyed through the twists and turns of Bill Barr's world, where power and controversy collide in ways that still send ripples through Washington. From his early rise as a CIA-savvy lawyer shaping policies under Reagan and Bush, to becoming Trump's steadfast attorney general, Barr built a reputation as the ultimate insider, someone who could navigate crises with a cool head and a knack for making thorny issues disappear. But the real jolts came during his Trump stint, starting with that infamous Mueller report handling. Remember how his quick summary downplayed potential obstruction, only for Mueller's frustrated letter to surface, revealing concerns over misrepresented findings? It was a moment that had critics shouting cover-up, exposing fractures in trust that questioned if Barr was guarding the law or just the president. Then there were the election fraud dismissals that ramped up the drama. As 2020 heated up, Barr publicly debunked widespread cheating claims, clashing head-on with Trump's narrative in tense Oval Office showdowns. His abrupt resignation right before Christmas hinted at unbearable internal pressures, with whispers of resisted orders to chase baseless probes or even seize voting machines. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes friction that makes you wonder how close things came to crossing irreversible lines. And let's not forget the January 6th fallout. Barr's later testimony painted him as the voice warning against delusion, yet emerging whistleblower accounts suggested he downplayed early threats and intervened in ally cases like Flynn's or Stone's, fueling accusations of favoritism that eroded departmental integrity. Fast forward to interactions with bold figures like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, whose fiery oversight style has indirectly spotlighted Barr's decisions in hearings on accountability. While no epic face-off has gone down, her pew etch against Trump-era overreaches echoes criticisms of Barr's moves, keeping his legacy under fire. Add in the 2025 speculations, where unverified buzz suggests he's quietly advising on legal battles despite public rifts with Trump, or facing ethics probes that could lead to disbarment risks. Reports claim his memoir revelations and ongoing whispers about suppressed investigations continue to stir the pot, leaving fans speculating if more bombshells are lurking. These elements combine into a narrative packed with shocks, manipulated summaries, resisted pressures, whistleblower exposes, and lingering rumors that paint Barr as an enigmatic force, loyal to a fault or strategically self-preserving. Now here's the provocative kicker that lingers long after the credits roll. In a town built on connections and closed doors, will true accountability ever corner insiders like Barr? We've seen the media storms, the viral clips dissecting his every word, and the legal shadows hinting at probes that might finally bite. Yet, time and again, powerful players slip through the cracks, their shields intact while the public grasps for answers. Is Barr's story a rare crack in the armor, or just another chapter where influence trumps consequence? It challenges us to ask if the system is rigged for the elite, or if persistent voices, like Crockett's or those whistleblowers, could finally tip the scales. One thing's certain: in politics, secrets have a habit of resurfacing when you least expect, potentially unraveling even the tightest webs. If these revelations left you hooked on the hidden games of power, don't stop here. Hit that like button if Barr's tale got your mind racing, and subscribe for more deep dives into Washington's underbelly. Ring the notification bell to catch the next expose, because the battle for truth is far from over, and who knows what shocking twist awaits. Stay tuned. The real drama might just be starting.